go.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Kidd. I'm the Vice President of Food and Beverage at Live Casino Resort in Hanover, Maryland. I hope you've been able to enjoy some of the recipe and videos that we've done this week. I'm not leaving dessert by the wayside. I'm sure many of you who miss dining at the restaurants at the property certainly miss some of the desserts offered at Lucky's and the Prime Rib and David's and whatnot. So I thought I'd make a great New York cheesecake today. I've got some wonderful ingredients to share with you in making our basic cheesecake. The recipe is going to be online, and so let's talk about just the mechanics of making a great cheesecake. First of all, you have to have really good ingredients. All right, don't skimp on cream cheese, cream, egg, sour cream. All those things are very important when you're making your true traditional New York style cheesecake. So today on the recipe online, I put graham cracker crumbs for the base. Unfortunately, like I said in my previous videos, the grocery store is not carrying all the ingredients that you need to have. So all they had was chocolate graham cracker ingredients. So that's what I've used for my crust today. So the process of this, you can take the crumbs out of the box. The recipe is that you're going to mix it with some melted butter, a little bit of sugar. Then you're going to tamp it into a pre-seasoned pan, a little bit of pan spray on it. You're going to bake this for about 10 minutes. So in essence, it's almost like a cookie when you touch it in the process. We're going to make our cheesecake batter. That's going to go on top of this. And then we're going to bake this in a water bath. All right. The water bath is important because it keeps the cheesecake in a moist environment. It won't crack and it won't shrink up. And so when we get to that point of putting it in the oven, that'll be in a couple minutes from now, I will talk about at that point. So for the process of mixing the cheesecake batter itself is almost, it's a two-stage mixing process. You're going to cream together your sugar with your cream cheese until everything is nice and smooth, there's no lumps in it, but you don't want to whip a whole lot of air into it, you want to mix it slowly. Then we're going to add our eggs in 2 equal parts, making sure we scrape the bowl between each time we add eggs. And again, we're going to mix it on low speed, all right? We're not trying to whip air in this. Once those eggs are incorporated, we'll add the sour cream and the rest of the cream, and we have some vanilla extract. That is what we'll pour into here. Now, if you want to make any kind of flavored cheesecake, if you want to make Oreo cheesecake, or if you want to make Rocky Road cheesecake, or you want to put chocolate chips, or whatever you enjoy eating, or crushed up JoJo's, or whatever that you enjoy, or fruit, things you would swirl in at the end. The process of making the batter, at the end of that process, you would add those flavor ingredients, and then you would pour them in. Things like cookies or large types of garnishes, you want to crush up a little bit so they're not whole big chunks. But also you don't want to overmix it either, so it becomes more of a puree. That's not what is desirable. So let's start with our first process here: cream together the cream cheese and the sugar. So we'll be back in just a few minutes after we cream this together, and we'll show you what it looks like. All right, well, welcome back. We've been creaming together our sugar and our cream cheese mixture. And as you can see here, the finished product is, it's not whipped up with a lot of air, but it's nice and smooth, all right? So this is when you know, at this point, that you're ready to start adding your egg mixture. All right, so I've cracked the 6 eggs. Now, we don't want to add this all at once, all right? You want to take a little bit of time to incorporate this. So we're going to start the mixer on low, okay? And we'll add this in about 2 parts, all right? And let it incorporate. So I just added about 3 eggs right there. And we just want to let it incorporate. You don't want to go too quickly. As I was explaining, it takes a bit of time for the cheesecake mix to absorb the eggs. All right, we're going to stop and scrape the bottom of the bowl a little bit here as well to make sure that the eggs are well incorporated. And again, the goal is to keep this mix nice and smooth. All right, so we're going to stop here for just a moment. And we'll be scraping down the center here. So I can tell you, I'm really looking forward to getting back to work soon. I've been cooking up a storm here with my wife and I. We've been making all kinds of food. I'm sure all of you out there miss eating at the casino. And I always think about this dish for the steakhouse after eating a really nice rich steak and enjoying some company and some friends and family and a great bottle of wine. And it's always nice to finish with a nice decadent dessert. Now this is, whether you share one or you keep it all to yourself, this is one of those things that's always a favorite. All right, so now we're ready to make the next batch. We get this going again. And then we'll add the rest of the eggs. And here they go. Well, I certainly have to hand it to all the folks who've helped stock the grocery stores, certainly to all of our first responders and to all the folks in the healthcare industry that have been helping all the people out there through this crisis. We certainly thank all of our staff members at the casino for helping out when they can, and everybody staying home and being healthy. And hopefully they've gotten to cook for their families at home too. So, as you can see here, we've got a really nice smooth batter coming together. So we'll stop this one more time and we'll scrape this once more. You can see how it's getting more and more like cake batter, some which you're probably more accustomed to seeing. But again, the only thing in here right now is cream cheese, eggs, and sugar. All yummy ingredients. So you can see we still have a few lumps in here. We're gonna let it mix a little bit longer. That's why it's important to make sure that you scrape it all the way up from the bottom. Now hopefully, if you don't have one of these KitchenAid mixers, you can certainly use hand beaters to do this as well. Works just as well. I just happen to have had this mixer for a long time, and it's probably a once in a lifetime purchase, and it certainly has served me well in a number of recipe preparations. So you can see here, we're gonna just keep scraping the bowl, and we're gonna let it mix a little bit longer. Now, this is a 5.5 quart, this is a 5-quart bowl. So this recipe at 3 pounds is gonna give you one beautiful, nice tall cheesecake. All right, we'll mix just a little bit more, and then we'll add our sour cream. And today, I'm actually substituting plain yogurt. I couldn't find any sour cream at the store, but they had plain yogurt, so you could also substitute that as well. Got my heavy cream here, which I was able to find. Now, if you wanted to make this with Splenda or sugar substitute, you absolutely could do that. You could take out, if you make it with less calories, although cream cheese is certainly not light in calorie, you could use half and half or whole milk instead of heavy cream. I'm showing you what the true dish is, and it's meant to be a rich dish, as any cheesecake is. And so you can see here we've got to get smoother and smoother. Again, keep it mixing on low speed. We're not trying to mix air into this mix. That's part of the density and the richness when you have a piece of cheesecake. And so you can see here we've got just some small tracks being made with the beater. So we're almost ready to add the rest of the ingredients. We'll scrape down one more time. You see here how smooth the batter is coming out. Just double check we don't have anything left on the bottom. And then we'll be ready to pour this into our mix on top of our crust. That looks good. All right, we're going to incorporate the rest of the items here. We're going to add our vanilla first. Okay. We're going to incorporate our cream. Just slowly. And then I'll put our yogurt in here as well. And we're almost ready to go. And that looks nice and smooth. You see where we start out with the cream together, cream cheese and sugar, and where we're at now, the consistency of the batter, nice and thin, or not too thin. We are about ready to go. Oh yeah, that looks yummy. So if you were going to add other ingredients at this time, cookies, chocolate chips, now would be the time to add them. Just mix them together briefly, and then you are ready to go with baking your cake. All right, step out here for a minute. All right, our batter is ready to go. So we have our pan, we have our batter, and in it goes. Now, if you don't own a springform pan, these are readily available at Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, pretty much any cooking store. I think I paid about $9 for this one. They're not very expensive, but they are specifically for cheesecake. And if you're going to do this, I highly recommend that you purchase one. There you go. Now, you can see here, I'm almost at the very top. When this finishes, we got this beautiful cheesecake. It's going to be nice and smooth. Now tomorrow, we're going to bake it today, we'll let it cool overnight. Tomorrow, we're going to finish it with a little bit of sour cream top mixed with some sour cream, or I'll say some plain yogurt, mixed with some powdered sugar, and that'll be our finishing on top. Then we'll slice it and enjoy. Thank you. All right, now we're ready to bake our cheesecake. I've got the oven set at 325 degrees. We're going to bake this for about an hour. Now, when I said water bath, it's simply exactly as it sounds. You can take a nice heavy pan, put on your cheesecake. You're going to put the pan on the shelf in the oven. Then you're going to add your water. Don't add the water before you move your pan. All right? You'll end up spilling water all over your oven or on the floor. And certainly you might catch a little ear from somebody else in your kitchen who's helping you. So, but I always start out like this. I've got my water here, got my pan ready, and now we're going to go into the oven. All right, so we'll check back in once I pull it out later on. Well, welcome back. We've been baking our cheesecake here this afternoon. This has been in the oven for a little bit over an hour. So as you can see, we've got a nice golden crust on, or golden top here. It's a little bit gelatinous in the very center. Now, as we take it out of the oven, it's really going to continue to cook, so the carryover temperature is going to carry on for about another 15 to 20 minutes. The goal here is that we want to cool this cake down slowly. So we're going to put it up here on the stove top. We're going to let it cool off for about an hour, and then we'll move it out to our refrigerator after that. If you move it from the oven into a refrigerator right away, what will happen is you're going to shock it, and you get cracks in your cheesecake, which is not a big deal, but again, you're going through all this trouble to make a beautiful cheesecake. You also want to cool it down properly. So let's just take it out of the oven. You'll also notice most of the water's evaporated from the water bath, so much safer to move that pan out of the oven. So let's just take this out now. You can see here as I move it, it's got a little bit of jiggle to it. That's about when it's finished. So we're going to set it up here, and we're going to let that sit right there for the next hour, and then it's going to go into the refrigerator. So tomorrow, we'll tune back in. We'll take it out of the springform pan, and we'll cut some slices to enjoy. Have a good evening.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, good morning. We're back to take a look at our cheesecake. If you remember, yesterday afternoon, we just took it out of the oven, and we let it cool on our stovetop for about an hour, and then it went into the refrigerator overnight. So I've already taken it out of the springform pan. I've iced the top here with our sour cream icing, although I did substitute sour cream with some plain yogurt this time. So you can see here, we got this beautiful tall cheesecake. I've got it on my icing table here. And so now we're going to cut it. So the best way to cut a nice tall cheesecake is you want to have a warm, or I say as warm as possible knife, or wet knife. All right, so I've got my hot water here. We're also going to, I've got some nice frozen berry compote that I've thawed out here. We're going to serve with this as well. Now, you don't have to do that, but whatever favorite topping that you would like to go along with this. We just happen to have some of this in our freezer we use for smoothies. But here we go. Let's take a look at our cheesecake. Now, you can cut this in as large or small pieces as you would like, but in the recipe, you would get 12 really nice portions out of this cake if you were going to serve this for a dessert at your dinner party. So, we'll dip our knife again. We want to get some of the residue off. We'll wipe it off. And we'll cut through here. Just pull straight back. And then we'll go underneath. The first slice is always the most difficult to get out. And as you can see, it takes a little coaxing. And there we go. Nice, beautiful, creamy cheesecake. There you go. All right. So you can see inside of here, the results that we're looking for. We've got this nice creamy texture. It's nicely set. It's not hard and dense, but it's nice and creamy. As you can see here, the finished product. It's going to have a beautiful mouthfeel to it. Coat your tongue. If you love cheesecake, this is a great recipe. Try it at home. Have a great day.